Hello, everybody. Gonna run through this trig sine and cosine graphing worksheet for you. Hopefully you sort of have an idea what's going on here, but if not, I'm gonna walk you through piece by piece what we are looking for. So let's go ahead and do number one, just sketching the basic sine curve and the basic cosine curve. Now, if you think about it, all of these values are coming directly from the unit circle. We're looking at essentially only these key points around the unit circle, and we're going to turn them into a graph. So we need to remember that on the unit circle, our y values all around the circle are what represent our sine graph. And so if I take all of these y values for the given angle, we will get our sine curve. And so I can plot that when the angle is 0, the sine is 0. When the angle is pi over 2 straight up, the sine is 1. When the angle is pi, when we're straight to the left, again our y value is 0. When we're straight down at the angle of 3 pi over 2, our y value on the unit circle is negative 1. So we see this graph continuing down. And then finally, when we've done a full revolution, we end back at the angle of 0, which is equivalent to the angle of 2 pi. The sine value again is 0. And so I can sketch in that curve, and it's going to look like that. Now I could continue this forever in either direction. I could make that continue up like that. I could make this next one continue down like that, because this always has to follow the same pattern. It's never going to randomly change. It's always going to oscillate between 0, 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 1, 0, negative 1. And I can do the same exact thing for cosine, except this time I would be using x values on the unit circle. So how does sine and cosine, how do they differ? Well, notice cosine is going to start at its maximum value. I see that with that 1 right there. So my first value will start at the maximum. And then at pi over 2, my next x value corresponding to a cosine value is 0. So I get that one right there. And again, I'm now going to be basically following that same exact pattern as I did with the sine graph. I'm going to oscillate between 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 1, 0. And again, I could continue that in either direction as far as I wanted, but it gives me this pattern that repeats forever. Got a little off my graph there, but you see the idea. It's going to go back and forth like this forever. And there we have our basic sine and our basic cosine graph. And now we're going to look at applying some transformations to those graphs.